Hello and welcome to the tutorial video dedicated to creating the interior design visuals with just simple images in Canva. I covered it briefly in the other tutorial video, where I went through how to use the image frames and insert your own images in our presentation template pre-set up visuals. However, to have a full overview of how to create these amazing visuals, I would like to cover the whole process from the very beginning. At the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to create them completely by yourself from the ground up. I will briefly show you what I will be working on today, giving you an overview of the finished piece. The three visuals I just presented are from one of our interior design presentation templates. I'll provide a direct link to it in the description below. In the living room layout from that presentation, the armchairs are placed on either side of the sofa. For this tutorial, I decided to use an L-shaped sofa this time, and situate the armchairs just to one side. Firstly, I will focus on building the background, meaning creating the flooring and the back wall. Then, on placing the furniture and decor pieces together to make it as realistic as possible. Go to the panel on the left and choose Elements. From here, either choose Frame, if you already have it at the top, or simply type Frame in the search bar. Then click on Frames. You will be able to choose from a large selection of image frames Canva offers. Click on a simple square frame. Choosing the image frame gives the flexibility to insert an image into the frame as well as to apply a color. Graphic or shape element, on the other hand, only allow applying a color, and inserting the image is not possible. I will resize it to fit to about the middle of the page and duplicate it twice by pressing Ctrl-D on the keyboard. Then place them next to each other and resize them all together. Why do I split the wall in three parts? This is because if I insert a patterned wallpaper, and if it was just one elongated frame, Canva would distort the pattern, leaving it way too large. In this case, I can control the pattern size better. Let's apply a paint color to the wall. I already took the screenshot of the exact paint color from the supplier's website. I uploaded it to Canva by going to Uploads and Upload Files. To apply it, select the image frame, then go to Color, and choose it from the Photo Colors tab. If you don't see it there, another option is to simply click on the image in the Uploads panel. This will load the image onto the page, then drag it to the image frame to insert it. Just like that. I will now duplicate one of them and resize it to create skirting alongside the length of the wall, and insert the image of the selected paint color just as I did previously. I will also create a simple shadow using a darker color to give depth to the skirting and make it very thin. Because the shadow line is absolutely tiny, I might have to use the keyboard arrows to move it in place. Now I will repeat the same steps for the flooring as I did for the back wall. In fact, I will duplicate the three wall elements and move them down to create flooring. Notice that the new elements are now on top. Since I want to keep them below, while I have them selected, I go to Position, then Layers, and I will move them below the painted wall and the skirting. To speed up the process, I already have all my furniture pieces and finishes selected and uploaded. I simply take screenshots of them directly from the supplier's websites. As a bonus, when purchasing the presentation template, you received a PDF with an extensive suppliers list, which I hope you find absolutely amazing. Okay, let's insert the flooring image by simply selecting it from the uploads and dragging it into the respective image frame until it's placed inside. I will repeat this process for the other two frames. To align the patterns together, double-click inside the image frame and move the position of the pattern using the mouse. Experiment with its size and placement until it looks right. I also want the flooring to appear warmer, so when I still have it selected, I will go to Edit, Filters, See All, and I will choose the one called Mist. To change the intensity of the filter, use the slider below. I will have to apply the filter separately for all three flooring patterns. The last thing to add to the background to create more depth is some shadow. Let's go to Elements and type Shadow. Then Graphics and See All to expand the list. I will choose this shadow, which is a free element. I'm going to enlarge it and crop it so that it is flat on one side. Then place it just below the skirting. The transparency of the shadow can be adjusted here. I will now duplicate the same shadow, rotate it, and place it above the skirting. Then lower the transparency so it is very subtle. The whole background is now created. Go ahead and group all these elements together. Select them all by pressing and holding the left click on the mouse and drag the mouse from one corner to the opposite corner. Then group. Moving on to the actual furniture pieces, I will now add a new square image frame to start inserting the furniture images. I will be reshaping it to suit each furniture piece as I go along. Since the sofa I selected is more of a rectangular shape, I will straightaway reshape my image frame to reflect it. Using the panel on the left, select your chosen sofa image and drag it into the image frame. I strongly suggest investing in the Canva Pro account if you want this to work smoothly and efficiently. With the Pro account, removing background from the images and applying other effects happens literally with a click of a button. Having said that, let's go back to the sofa image to remove the background and apply the drop shadow. First, select the image and click on BG Remover. It will take only a second to remove the white background from the image. Next, go to Edit, Effects, and Shadows. Then drop for Drop Shadow. You will be able to adjust the parameters such as blur, angle, distance, color, and intensity. Depending on the furniture piece, I have certain presets which I will share with you in this tutorial. For the bigger pieces of furniture such as sofas, armchairs, and coffee tables, I like to use the following: blur amount 20, angle 58, distance 29, and intensity 40. Lastly, I will also double-click inside the image frame and enlarge the sofa without making the image frame itself any bigger. Next step is to add a side table on the right side of the sofa. Let's duplicate the image frame by pressing Ctrl-D on the keyboard, and let's resize it right away. Then insert the side table image. As you probably noticed, because I duplicated the sofa image frame, I didn't have to repeat the background remover nor the drop shadow. I just have to apply the parameters once and keep duplicating the frames in order to get the same results. How great is this, right? Now that I have these two pieces in situ, I can move on to the floor lamp on the other side. For the lighting, I use slightly subdued drop shadow values. I'll duplicate the frame first and resize it to suit the floor lamp shape. I'll insert the image, then adjust the size within the frame the same way as with the sofa. Okay, let's go to Edit and Shadows. The drop shadow is already applied, so I will just readjust the values to blur 20, angle 62, distance 20, and intensity 28. I think it's best to add a rug at this point. Go to Elements and type Trapezoid Upframe. Click on the first one, readjust it, and stretch the trapezoid upframe until the perspective looks right. Okay, I think this looks good now. I'm going to insert the rug image. I'll double-click inside the image frame to check if I have to rotate it and resize it to fit the frame better. Okay, fantastic. Let's add the shadow below the rug. As you already know, go to Elements. At this point, the shadow which I used previously will appear in the recently used items, so I will simply click on it to add it to my visual. Again, I will quickly adjust it and perhaps lower the transparency slightly until it looks right. Just to note, since I am starting to have a lot of elements on the page, and if I try to move the shadow around with the mouse, I might insert it into another image frame. I will show you what I mean. So to avoid this, instead of moving the elements around with the mouse, you can use the keyboard arrows from now on. Let's also rearrange the shadow to be below the rug. When it is selected, go to Position, then Layers, and move it below the rug layer. Let's not forget to group these two elements together, and also move them below other furniture pieces but above the grouped background. The visual slowly comes to life already. How exciting! I will focus on the coffee table and the armchairs next. I am going to duplicate the sofa image frame and resize it as usual to fit the shape of the coffee table. Then insert the image. Let's adjust it within the frame and move it a little too. Perfect. I will repeat the same process for the armchairs. I'll duplicate and resize the image frame, then insert the armchair image. Then I'll duplicate the image frame again for the second armchair. In order for the perspective to be right, the armchair in the front has to appear bigger than the armchair in the back, so let's do exactly that. Okay, I will also position them by paying attention to the perspective. The easiest would be to assign the perspective parallel lines to the border of the rug, so that the line formed between the top of the two armchairs reflects the rug's borderline more or less. It doesn't have to be exact, just so it looks right. Let's dive more into the decor pieces and add some throw pillows, the artwork above the sofa, the pendant light, and a few other details. For the pillows, a custom-made pillow mock-up was created especially for our presentation templates, so I will copy them from the presentation template you purchased. I'll grab these two pillows and copy-paste them into the visual. I also want to have 3 pillows in total in this corner, 2 square pillows, 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small rectangular pillow. I will then duplicate the large square pillow and make it smaller. Just a tip, if you want to resize any element proportionately, always resize it by pulling by the corners, like so. I will send it behind the rectangular pillow and insert the selected fabrics. For the larger pillow, I chose a more geometric and organic pattern, and for the medium pillow, I decided on a plain but textured fabric. The smallest rectangular pillow works well as is. Now, I will just duplicate the 2 square pillows to move them to the other side of the sofa and adjust their placement so that they look as realistic as possible. I'm going to move on and add the artwork above the sofa. Since the artwork is square, I will duplicate the armchair image frame, make it smaller, and place it just above the sofa. Then I will duplicate it again and replace the armchair with the artwork image for both of them. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I'll resize it a little, and I think these will look better if they are facing the other direction, so I will rotate at least one, if not both. Much better. It's time to add the pendant light. Let's duplicate the armchair and repeat the necessary steps. Okay, this was super easy and quick, actually. The finishing touches to conclude this visual are perhaps a vase with flowers resting on the coffee table and some decorative item on the side table. I'm going to duplicate the side table itself for this purpose and replace it with a statue. I'll make it a bit smaller as it is too big. Now I'll duplicate the statue to insert the image of a white vase and place it on the coffee table. And the last thing remaining is to add some flowers to the white vase. The visual is finally finished and it looks absolutely amazing. I hope this tutorial was helpful and you feel more confident to create different furniture layouts and visuals yourself. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a bright and successful career.